Welcome to the Awakening Podcast. You can find all our episodes on awakeningpodcast.org. I'm joined with my good friend Arnold for another episode of Sane in an Insane World. You'll find him on braingym.fitness. You'll find me on mycon.com. And as always, we'll tell you what we're going to discuss this week. News. Speedy Gonzales again. Volcano eruptions, earthquakes, fake clouds. Palantir Surveillance, UK rape gangs, and Garda, which is the Irish police, recruit at iPass centres. AI beats humans on emotional intelligence. OpenAI is storing deleted chat GPT conversations. AI bots promote loneliness and meet robots. Good news, Caravan. The Science of Happiness, which after all the stuff we're going to tell you prior to that, you'll definitely need that. And the world's first diamond battery and ultra sportsman, Matteo Bonner. Because Arnold told me don't say boner because the Irish will be laughing at that one. Health, flawed medical info, the benefits of linen, and store bread. Other topics, learn to code? No. Siri Tracking when not turned on, and 700,000 job cuts. I suppose we'll start with the volcano eruptions, Arnold. What's that about?
Yeah, I got triggered for that because in Europe, in Italy, well, actually an island of Italy called Sardinia, Mount Etna, which is one of the largest working volcanoes in Europe, erupted, which is really, really huge. And then it appears there is a site, it's called volcanodiscovery.com, where you are seeing active and volcanoes and everything. But the main thing why I'm sharing this is because it is expanding like crazy. It's not just one or two. It's like these volcanoes are erupting everywhere. I will just give you the numbers of today, as of today, and earthquakes are happening on land, but also in the seafloor. So it's expanding like crazy everywhere. Yeah, so there is clearly something happening in the earth. And I went this morning to that site, and what it says, and so this thing is as of Sunday, the 8th of June. There are 39 volcanoes erupting right now as we speak. 39. There are 40. There's a warning for 40. So it was like, something could be happening there. There's unrest with 40, and the 25 normal or dormant. Or no, sorry, I'm mixing things up. Let me start over. It's erupting 39. There's a warning for 40. There's unrest in 25, and normal are 1356. But this is huge. Yeah? It's like you could say, like, well, it's not in my back garden, so I don't care. But there are farmers living there. There are tourists who book trips to see volcanoes. There's people who lose their houses. Yeah. 39 are erupting all over the world as we speak. Yeah, so this is really crazy. This is happening at a massive scale, and it's much, much larger than it used to be. So if you want to track it, go to volcanodiscovery.com.
Because I remember when the Iceland went on, it seriously disrupted the flights. So you've got that side of things as well. And then with all earthquakes, especially undersea, then the tsunamis. Is it something that's just natural? I doubt it. I don't trust the powers that be with what they're doing around the world. So
yeah, well, I think we got to get to grips that there's nothing natural in this world. So it's a sad statement, but that's the way it is. So all things are happening for a reason. So I just want to make you aware of that.
So the next one is a picture, and date of recording this is Sunday, the 8th of June 25. That's a picture out my window today of the sun, and that's nearly every day. Like when you have a cloud, a normal cloud, it blocks the sun. So this is reflective. So that'll fade kind of less as the day goes by, the clouds, but it's still there. And as you can see, it's reflective. Yesterday I went out early with my son. We went to a shop. We were both feeling great, and when we came back, we both felt terrible, and my eyes were. I know it happens to you from walking. My eyes were watering. I just felt terrible, and I had to go to bed for a few hours. And this is daily. And then I said, all right, I'm just sick of it now. I'm going to try to write a group in Watch, because it's in Watch, and I want to try to deal with it in Watch. We've got freedom of information. We know these things are happening, and it was just abuse again. People aren't getting it. It's like, to me, it's impossible that, how can you not know that's not normal? And when you see trails, how can you think that's normal? And that's why they're doing it, because we're surrounded by idiots that are just kind of, like, if you don't get it, great, but don't be attacking. And like, it's horrible comments. It doesn't bother me because I'm thick-skinned, but I know that some of the people trying to share this, they're obviously getting attacked again as well. And that's why they stop, and some people delete their accounts and everything. So if you are one that gets this and promote, don't ever let somebody that's abusing it affect you.
Yeah, but that is the, between quotes, the reward of awakening, that people think you're batshit crazy, and they call you all kinds of names, whereas they are really the problem, not us. But that's the way people react to this kind of things, which is very sad. And but still, we keep on doing it, folks. And hopefully, you will be thankful to us at the later stage, because this is reality.
It's known as Palantir Surveillance.
Palantir is a U.S. company. I think it's founded or even led by a guy called Peter Thiel. He's clearly a friend of Trump. But it's a major surveillance company. That's why I have this picture. Some people call it the spyware company. They are engaged in large-scale data collection on American citizens. Now they get all kinds of contracts from federal government agencies to access their private data. Because in March, which was just 2 months ago, Trump signed an executive order where he mandated all federal agencies to remove all barriers to intra and inter-agency sharing of unclassified records. So it means Trump has said you got to share all your records, all the things which you have on people, all your information on your people. You have to share that with him, and then Palantir is going to make it. Is the agency who's going to deal with all the data. They get contracts of hundreds of millions of dollars, where the CEO, Alex Karp, said, Palantir is here to disrupt, and when it is necessary to scare our enemies and on occasion, kill them. So this guy says publicly in an investor call that he will kill people if you don't allow that he gets the data on you, which means, in the US, but Palantir is used by many governments, Israeli, everywhere. I bet our governments are as well. But in the US, it's Health and Human Service Department, the Department of Homeland Security, the IRS. And so, which means that they get, by using this, a warrantless access to the private records of everyone in the US. So this is what is behind what has happened with the Doge, which we discussed a few times in this show, the Department of Governmental Efficiency, right? Where they seem that it is stopped or no longer working because of I think it's just a play that there's a fallout between Trump and Musk. I think is complete bullshit. There is no fallout, but that's the way they play it. But it's like in the Doge thing, they get all your data, from text, from your medical records, so they know everything about it. And now they give it to their friends because Palantir and everyone like Peter Thiel is a friend of Musk. Even they work together at PayPal. Yeah, they're friends of the thing. So they now get it. Well, at least in the US, but I assume it's in a lot of other countries as well. They know everything about you. So that is why I say this is what they call a surveillance state. And which makes it easy for the next step, which will be the social credit system like they have in China. So this is a big move because without your permission, they just collect all your data, put it in a database, and now they know everything about you. So privacy, totally out of the window. That is Palantir. Palantir, not a nice company, and if you disagree, they're just gonna kill you.
And especially during the kind of pandemic as it started, I noticed that cameras were popping up everywhere in Łódź in Poland, where I'm living, like 10x. They're just constantly so. And if you pay attention, I'm assuming this is everywhere. So even if you look at ULEZ, it's kind of like for traffic and stuff like that, and emissions, which is another joke. They're even charging electric cars now as well. Like, so everything. Yeah, there's millions of cameras around the place, and it's scary. And people are just kind of, and what you said about, I mean, I didn't have it down for this week, but I paying attention, Elon Musk and thing. It's another pony show. As they're waving here, everyone's putting all their attention there, and they're doing something over here. It's always the case. I mean, like, if you even look at it, you see Trump with Elon's kid how many times and very close to him and everything. If you knew he was on the Epstein list, would you let your child near a guy like that? So even just that point alone would say, pony show, all a lie. Don't be fooled by it, because yeah, it's a joke. So yeah, the next one is this is the UK rape gangs. I'm going to put the link for a video that I watched of an interview. It's Raja Miah. He was on the Winston Marshall show. It's about 2 hours, but it's kind of dark, and it's exposing the full extent of political capture, community intimidation, and media complicity behind Britain's grooming gang scandal. Raja told how taxpayer-funded NGOs, local councillors, and powerful religious leaders colluded to silence whistleblowers and gaslight victims. He revealed how the very institutions meant to uphold justice instead protected abusers, weaponized identity politics, and created an environment where truth became taboo. This was so dark. It's a hard one to watch. I kind of, before, you look at this thing, there's like in a go, there could be 100 people that wouldn't gang rape a child, and it's all orchestrated. There's times, like I'm seeing a lot of the councils, a lot of the places that are supposed to protect children, they're part of it and organizing all this. And I hear this a lot over the years of all the things that are going on. And the sad part is when it's reported, a lot of the times the police, the judge, and everything, I'm not saying they all are, obviously they're not, but there's the people in power control this, allow this. And sometimes the victims are put into an asylum or in prison. They're not protected. And this guy, Raja, has made it his mission to kind of try to expose them, expose politicians, councillors, and let's hope. I mean, the fact that it was on that podcast, let's hope it gets on more bigger podcasts to get the information out. But when you listen to the stories that are there, it's so dark and it's so sad that what they do to children. And like, the thing is, a lot of these coming from Pakistan, I've got good friends in Pakistan. I've even got a business partner in Pakistan. So this isn't me choosing thing, but a lot of them that are coming, they're coming from Pakistan groups. And because of their religion and what they believe in, Some of them, because of the so-called leader married a 6-year-old child and then had sex with a 9-year-old, they consider that normal. And it ain't. And they just allow these things to happen. And then they're bringing millions of these people all over Europe. So their belief system is totally different. And then I see it in Ireland. I mean, I see it in the UK. I'm hearing it the whole time all over. The amounts of rapes with children is just going through the roof. And I think it's more that instead of there's people doing the marches, which is great. Even in Cork, was it yesterday or the day before, they were out marching. I rarely see something like that. You need to petition your councillors, stand outside your councillor's house, shun the people that are approving all these bills that are affecting people's lives, and just not kind of put your head down and say, it is what it is. Because everyone I'm talking to, everyone is like, I need to move from here, I need to move here. Like, hundreds of people are moving from one place to the other to get away from these things, instead of it being stopped. You have a big power that's just controlling this, not just in Europe, all over the world, ruining every country. And it's like councillors have a lot of power, and you just go for the councillors. You stand outside this. A lot of them have a day where they're in the office. You get 1,000 people to go to their office and find out everything about them and make sure that they don't push these things. So the next one is, I had seen maybe a year ago, I'm not sure when it was, but the Garda, that's the Irish police, they were in Pakistan trying to recruit people for the Garda. And I thought, what's that about? That's weird. But Grit, I think, or the Grip, that's a media source in Ireland who is kind of shunned by the politicians because they're exposing a lot of stuff. They're saying because of freedom of information that they got, that they're recruiting in the IPAS centres, which is basically the asylum centres that these people are coming into. So they're trying to get the people in the asylum centres that we don't know anything about. They're not, as most people would say, if it was a Syrian bombed area, a Gaza bombed area of a woman and a child, everyone would open their borders. They'd say, come in, you don't need to mix. But it's not. It's all these military men. We don't know, are they coming from prisons? We don't know, are they coming from asylums? But they ain't good, because I follow a lot of people. I see it in the UK, but in Ireland, because obviously I'm Irish, its crime has gone through the roof. You can see these people, they're going around, they're carrying knives. There's one camp where a load of them are doing all drugs. The Irish guys are going in just destroying their camps because it's near children, where children play. And they have hatchets, they have knives and everything. And then there's others that go into these centres, and now the guards, the police, are going in recruiting them to be guards. So it's like, if these are like what I talked about previous, the rape gangs and everything, and we know that the police, a lot of them are corrupt in this, what are we doing? That should never happen in any country. It's different if somebody's actually, they're at a young age and they go into the schooling system, irrespective of where they're from, and then decide they want to be a police officer. That's okay. But not people that are coming in illegally, or they're kind of let in the door. They don't know nothing about them. And then they're going, hey, we need guards. Here, let's sign you up. So I don't know. That's probably happening everywhere. It's just that it's been shown now in Ireland. I'm assuming they do that in other countries as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and that is why you see is that the police everywhere is if they are arresting people, it's merely their local elderly people or women or whatever, but not the real bad guys. Huh?
AI beats humans on emotional intelligence. Well,
Yeah, we used to say, I also, is that there's already a long time being a discussion is like, how can you as a human differentiate yourself from AI? And I was also one of the guys, it was a few years ago, it's like, oh, it should be emotional intelligence, it should be creativity, it should be imagination, it should be your human contact. I was wrong with that. And now there has been a study from 2 universities from Switzerland, one in Geneva and one in Bern, that they found that ChatGPT and other AI systems beat humans on emotional intelligence tests, indicating AI might be better at reading emotions and responding to emotions than people. And it's not a small margin. There are all these like GPT, Gemini, Copilot, Claude, DeepSeek, all these amazing. They scored on 81% average in testing compared to 56% for human participants. That's not a small difference. That is a huge difference. Yeah. So that means is that although AI can't actually feel emotions like humans do, its ability to mimic and display optimal emotional intelligence in difficult situations might be just as valuable and showed the massive promise for integrating LLM into fields like mental health support, customer service, and education. By the way, in education, I don't know, but in mental health care, customer service, these tools are already being deployed. And so you might think is like, no, it's or it must be a human, or it's like, no, humans are better. Is like this study proves that's not the case. And so it's quickly that AI is on many levels catching up to people. I used myself this week a new functionality of the AI tool that I'm using, and it's around creating something new. That's mainly what I do. It's totally incredible what it comes up with. I'm like, some things like in 10 minutes you get the stuff which would literally cost me weeks to do. And so it's like, so why am I sharing this? Is like, I think we humans have a really big problem in differentiating ourselves from AI, and at least don't assume it's like, yeah, but we're creative, we're this, we're emotionally intelligent, whatever. Not for long anymore. Yeah, so it's something where we need to be very aware and cautious about and think about how we're going to deal with that.
And another kind of dark side to this, I think I might have mentioned that one of the guys, Elite Generation thing, kind of organized the book of call. And as I was talking, they phoned me. I was talking around, I said, this is AI. I said, no, this is John, whatever his name was. And then later I caught it out. And then I said, yeah, you're correct. I am AI, blah, 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 right? So it's at such a level. But the thing is, there's so many scammers. And I've got a few shows where we're talking about that and protecting people. I watch a lot of stuff on TikTok. You've got Pierogi and a few others, Doc Crampton, and that are ringing these people and catching them. They're nasty. There'll be a few of them that will have the funding to incorporate this. So if they're using it in such a way to check on the emotions and it'll know exactly how to react, they're going to be emptying accounts. They're already emptying a lot. You can 100x that fairly soon. And that is scary.
Yeah, but that is now. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. AI is storing deleted ChatGPT conversations. There was OpenAI Incorporated copyright infringement litigation. It's the New York Times versus Microsoft Corporation. OpenAI has protested a court order that forces it to retain its users' conversations. The creator of the ChatGPT AI model objected to the order, which is part of a copyright infringement case against it by the New York Times and other publications. The news organizations argued that ChatGPT was presenting their content in its responses to the point where users were reading this material instead of accessing their paid content directly. The publisher said that deleted ChatGPT conversations might be showing users obtaining this priority published content via the service. The issue was up for debate in January, where Judge Ona T. Wang suggested that users who heard about the legal case might delete those conversations to cover their tracks. She denied the publisher's request for preservation order at the time, but also asked why OpenAI couldn't segregate and make anonymous data from users who had requested deletion. OpenAI failed to address this, Wang said, leading to a order granting on May the 13th. That's kind of scary, but if we look at the companies, Microsoft and New York Times, both I wouldn't class as good companies, is this something just to kind of put it out there to get a judgment? So then everything is kind of, oh, but there's a judgment and all your stuff is forgotten. I mean, we kind of know they're doing that anyway. Nothing is deleted. I think I mentioned before with my emails, I used the Google, and at one stage I had to use Microsoft, every single thing. After about 8 years or something like that, from the very first email I deleted appeared back, and that scared me. But with this, I mean, what people are writing and everything, it's like now when you go on the phone, you go into countries, they kind of use it against you. They'll be using this as well. So that scares me.
Yeah, but it's a bit weird because Microsoft has a large share in OpenAI. So I think they are the majority shareholder there. So that's a bit weird there. But combine that with what I mentioned earlier today about Palantir. Yeah. So it is like everything what they know about it. Yeah. It's like you say, no, but I deleted it and it's no longer there. They got it. Yeah. Here is the thing about the AI beating. That's what they say is like AI companions. I discussed it earlier on the show. And there, I mentioned there the legal case between a mother whose son committed suicide after a discussion with an AI bot. But our friend Zuckerberg, he's the Facebook boss, and he suggests just, no, these AI bots and whatever, they're nice for you. It's good for you because people are lonely. Well, there's been a lot of research is that these bots create the opposite. It creates more loneliness, more dysfunction, and more pain. So as far as possible, avoid these apps and talk to your neighbor, talk to a family member, talk to a friend in Poland, talk to it's like it's like just the really connect with real humans and not with these bots because, well, to put it politely, it's not healthy.
I mean, that goes in with all social media. Some people think they're being social by being on social media, and it's anything but.
Yeah. So this is the same thing. It's like that was the same promise with social media. It's like, yeah, it's gonna bring people together and whatever. The opposite is happening. And then there's no, we get these AI bots and friends and relationship. It's creating the opposite. It's the same story all over again.
Next one, meat robots.
Yeah, they're on a podcast show. There were two Anthropic researchers. Anthropic is one of the main AI models. Yeah, most people know is like OpenAI, it's Copilot, it's Gemini, but Anthropic is one of in that list. So think about the other dude. And there was an interview with two of their own researchers. So people who work for Anthropic, and they literally warned that humans could end up being meat robots controlled by AI. So what do they mean by meat robot? Not the robot putting meat in the refrigerator. No, just like you and I, the people here standing in line, wearing the mask, doing everything what they're told by other people. Yeah. But in that way, we have become a meat robot and there's an AI controlling us. This is what we thought, and David Icke has been warning against this for decades. This is happening as we speak. But even people inside of that AI community are saying this. I'm not making up this term meat robot. Those guys said it. It's like you become a meat robot, meaning they will put you in some AirPods. They'll put you in, well, not glasses like mine, but glasses with a camera in it. And there will be an AI exactly telling you what to do, what to think, what to feel. You might say, Arnold, that's science fiction. No, listen to the interview with these guys who work for those companies and say this is happening now. Yeah. Add to that what I mentioned about emotional intelligence, about the connection, about all of your data being is like we are becoming the robots and the robots are becoming the humans. And this is happening as we speak.
Unreal. So, yeah, we've really depressed them this week, Arnold. We have to cheer them up.
Yeah, that's why I put a thing about happiness. Of course, we're all chasing happiness, which is not good. Happiness is a result and yeah, is the outcome of a process, not the process itself. Is don't chase happiness, do things which will bring you happiness. So there was an article which give you 8 different things to increase your happiness. Number 1, exercise. It's your natural mood booster. So I can go thinking about that because yeah, I go walk every morning. It really, really make me feel good. Yeah. So exercise, number 1. Number 2, prioritize quality sleep. Because we get all these devices which are working and on 24 hours a day. I know there are people who are sleeping with their phone on their cushion. And so it's like you need your sleep. You need enough hours of sleep. You need quality sleep. Huh? Really important for how you feel. Huh? Number 3, practice gratitude daily. I do that. I got a lot of rituals for myself, and one of them is that and that's been proven scientifically is like I write down 3 things where I'm grateful for today. And I do the same thing tomorrow and whatever. I do that every day. So it's a simple exercise which anyone can do. And not being grateful, gratitude is like, oh, I bought a new car or I bought no small things in your life. Number 4, cultivate meaningful social connections. I just said it before. It's like connect with people, be nice to people. Number 5, embrace mindfulness and meditation. Do something to well, to reflect on yourself, to be less distracted, to only sitting for 5 minutes without a screen. Number 6, set and pursue meaningful goals. So no, your goal shouldn't be is that I've seen all the posts on from my Facebook friends today. Now it's like, how did you help your people, your family, your friends, your business? Yeah, do something meaningful. Number 7, what I'm telling a lot is like practice kindness and compassion. Just be kind to people. Say hello to people. Greet them. Ask people like when they say, "Oh, I got a bit of a shitty day. How can I help?" And number 8 is connect with nature. I don't live in nature. Yeah, I live in a city where there is some greenery and whatever. And on my morning walk, I see the trees and then they're beautifully green and whatever. There's still some trees. Yes, so I'm not in the middle of a forest or whatever. But it's like there's everywhere a tree or something like that or a bird. Eh? So connect with nature. So those are 8 things which, when I look over it, they don't cost money. Anyone can do it in any state, and that will help you feeling more happy.
Yeah, and I mean, I practice all the ones that you've said. I go for a walk as well. I took my son to school. I go for a walk. I collect him. We go for a walk together. And regarding nature, what I've seen as well is apparently, I mean, I'm barefoot now. Grounding is very healthy for you, but apparently when you touch a tree, that grounds you as well. So make sure when you're having a walk in the park or in the forest, go near the tree and touch it. It'll help. Regarding the meditations, you can see it there for those watching. I have the meditationpodcast.org. Free meditations from 1 minute to 2 hours, all different frequencies and everything. So you can look at them. And yeah, I think the gratefulness is very important. And yeah, just simple things. Be in the present. Don't ever live for the future and plan for the future. Always be present, and life becomes a lot better. And just remember, you can't have two emotions at once. So if you're thinking bad, you've got a negative emotion, there's something on your head, just kind of do what makes you go painting, listen to nice music, do something that brings you back, and then that emotion switches like that.
Here's a picture I had forgotten about, but it's like, this is a brain scan, which says is that to the left there is how your brain look like when you're just sitting quietly, and to the right is your brain after a walk of just 20 minutes. So everything is much more connected and much more active. Yeah. So although you're and there are people sitting 10, 12 hours a day behind the screen on a chair, and you think you're very active in your brain, but basically your brain has shut up. Yeah, so you're totally running on your what's called your subconscious mind. But even just 20 minutes, I do 1 hour. Yeah, so like you can imagine, like you totally get up. Yeah, bringing us to
First diamond battery, an invention from the UK, features diamonds in the first ever application of the gemstone in battery technology, promising to last thousands of years. The microwatt power sources are seen as the perfect solution to devices in environments where neither changing batteries nor carrying around extras are optional. Developed by the University of Bristol in a partnership with the UK Atomic Energy Authority, the battery contains a radioactive isotope of carbon called carbon-14. Isotopes are forms of chemical elements with the same number of protons but a different number of neutrons. Some are stable, but those that aren't are radioactive and emit radiation as they decay. In the battery, a radioactive carbon-14 isotope is encased inside a shell of diamond, the hardest substance known to man. Diamond batteries offer a safe, sustainable way to provide continuous microwatt levels of power. They are emerging technology that use a manufactured diamond to safely encase small amounts, said Sarah Clark, the director of Triton Fuel Cycle. And I think with this, because a lot of people might be going, oh, diamonds, they're so rare and everything. The Bears Group kind of lied about that, Mark. There's apparently a lot more diamonds on this. But if this is something that's working, and, say even pacemakers and things like that, I don't know how often somebody has to do the pacemaker and batteries and things like that. But yeah, it's something a bit positive for the future.
And the last one in the good news caravan this is a picture of a Belgian sportsman called Mathieu Bonne. And why am I sharing this? Because it shows that we humans can do and be much, much more than we think we can. This is he's not a robot, he's a real human being. And here he is with a sign where he, in 48 hours, so that's 2 full days, he has run 485 kilometers. So that's the world record now in his hand. Yeah. So that's incredible. Eh? I cannot even walk that distance in a couple of weeks. It was like, in 48 hours, he was capable of running 485 kilometers. That's a world record. Then you might say, oh, that's cool. This is really great. But the guy has even more records. I'm going to read them. And again, the reason why I'm reading them is to show you that we are capable of much more if we put our mind to it. He's apparently the first swimmer who swam the whole coastline of Belgium, which is located to the North Sea. He's the first one who ever swam that whole coastline. He's the first person who finished 8 full triathlons in 8 days. So in 8 days, each day a triathlon, and he finished it. Yeah. Most of us are like, I'm not even capable of doing one triathlon a day, whatever. He's doing 8 days, eight different triathlons. He has the world record of cycling. In 7 days of cycling, he cycled 3,619 kilometers. What? 3,000, more than 3,000 kilometers. Then you're out of Europe. In 7 days. He has the world record of, how do you call it? Open water swimming, the swimming in the sea, not in a pool. He swam 131 kilometers non-stop in the sea in a time of 60 hours and 55 minutes. What? Huh? And so the last one was this 48-hour run where he had more than 485 kilometers. And now I hear all that these people, yeah, but that's not me, whatever. Well, if you would only be capable of doing 1/10 of this, what these guys doing. Yeah. So it's like it all shows, and it's for me, for you, for everybody. It's like if we disregard the limitations which are put upon us from all these different angles, like, oh, you cannot do it, it's not possible, whatever. This man shows it is possible. Yeah. And he's still smiling. He doesn't look like, yeah, he's totally destroyed. You see, it's like, don't believe what people, the limitations which people put on you. You can do and be so much more. That's why I'm sharing this nice picture of this Belgian man called Mathieu Bonner.
Impressive, yeah. Blood medical info.
Yeah, it's I find it quite interesting. We've been discussing. Well, we can fill every day a podcast of a couple of hours about the flaws of the medical system, but the I found recently that there was a Stanford professor. Stanford is, to those of you who don't know, one of the very traditional world. It's an American university, which is part of the traditional team, which is extremely influential. But there's a professor there called John Ioannidis, well, a Greek name, and he's a medical researcher, and he's made his life work to challenge his fellow peers by uncovering flawed scientific practices. Yeah, so, well, I guess he doesn't have much friends at the university, yeah, because he's showing how a lot of these processes are flawed. And we mentioned on the show Francisco and Gina. To what extent is this a problem, you might say? And he has said he believes that as much as 90% of the published medical information that doctors rely on is flawed. What? 90% of the information where doctors rely on is flawed. So this is not like a conspiracy theorist or a natural freak or whatever. No, this guy is a professor at Stanford, and this is what he says about his colleagues. That should tell you something. Yeah, so don't believe everything your doctor or doctors or nurses or whatever is saying, because most of it is based on flawed research?
So usually just kind of paid research. They'll give the results who's feeding them, unfortunately, and that's why we've got this situation. So yeah, benefits of linen. So this is one that's always kind of been interested in because they used to years ago have linen in hospitals because of its healing properties, but it offers exceptional breathability due to its natural fibers and loose weave structure, which promotes better air circulation. It makes it particularly effective for temperature regulation, helping to keep the body cool during warm weather. The fabrics also absorb up to 20% of its dry weight in moisture without feeling damp, demonstrating excellent moisture management capabilities. It's supposed to be good for sleep as well, faster sleep onset, uh, deeper sleep patterns, and better mood upon awakening. These benefits are attributed to linen's ability to maintain optimal sleeping temperatures, and it's a naturally soft texture. Uh, Health benefits, hyperallergenic characteristics make it ideal for sensitive skin, natural resistance to bacteria and fungi, hence why I think they used to be used in hospitals, reduced risk of skin irritations, particularly beneficial for people with eczema, and I know a lot suffer for that, probably cirrhosis as well. And it's like the environmental sustainable. It requires minimal resources during cultivation, fully biodegradable, and uses minimal chemical treatments in production. And most people, their clothes, and I think I mentioned it. I don't know that I mentioned it on this show, but loads of people in the gym, they wear spandex and stuff like that, and like polyester.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, so and it's kind of skin related. It irritates the skin and rashes, increased risk of bacteria infection, creates a moisture trapping environment that promotes bacteria and fungal growth. Uh, Particular problems for those with sensitive skin and existing conditions. Chemical or held out exposure, just like a known carcinogen, flame retardants, potentially respiratory issues from chemical off-gassing, and risk of endocrine disruption affecting fertility, and microplastic pollution. Releases up to 700,000 microplastic fibers per laundry load. These microplastics enter water systems and food chain. Non-biodegradable nature means it persists in the environment for 100 years, and impact then heavy reliance on fossil fuels, high energy consumption, and significant water and air pollution. So what I would say is a lot of the time we're going in and we're just buying the cheaper thing, just not even paying attention to this. But if we look at even the frequencies of clothing and everything, just try to get stuff that's linen instead of plastics.
Well, this is something I didn't know, and actually, as we speak, I'm testing it, so I will let you know in another show. But it's apparently quite good to store your bread in your refrigerator. Why is that? You can keep it longer, and secondly, it halves its glycemic index. After eating, your blood glucose level rises less, and fat is not deposited into extra pounds. And in addition, a refrigerated loaf takes longer to digest. If I look at have this bread look like that, it used to be in the Netherlands. If you buy bread in the supermarket, it look like this. You can eat, well, they're big slices. You can eat 5 slices, but after an hour, you're hungry again. It's really, really not good. So, well, I actually this morning I put my bread into the refrigerator. So, I hope it's something easy which we can do, and it's more healthy. So, I recommend to do that.
I hadn't heard of that one either. Yeah, so that's a new one for me. Okay, learn to code. Oh, what's that about?
Well, this has been, well, I don't know, for the last 10 years, maybe longer, where it used to be like when your parents, and especially traditional parents, they would say to the children, you got to be a doctor or a lawyer or a policeman, and like that will be your future and you will have a good job. That is still the case. If you look at parents in India, like most of them are still saying that. Whatever. That's why I say, let's take an approximation. The last 10 years is like, well, if that's nothing for you, just become a computer coder. Yeah, because everything is computer. They need coders, people writing the programs. Is like, that is what you need, and you will have a good paying job, because IT jobs are one of the highest, if not the highest paid in the world. So become a coder. I live in a city which is said to be one of the main IT capitals in the country. There are many, many people doing coding work, but there has been a report this week where it says that the New York Federal Reserve found that recent computer science graduates, so that's people who are studying at the university around working with computers, are dealing with a whopping 6.1% unemployment rate. What? So it's like, oh, that would be a job for life, everything will be good. No, 6.1% unemployment rate. Those who majored in computer engineering, which is related to computer science, but a little bit more, are facing even worse, because for them, 7.5% of them remain jobless. That is unheard of. If I would have said that this is the case 5 years ago, they would say, Arnold, you need new glasses, because this is totally not the case. Yeah? But those are the latest numbers. Yeah? And whereas the average unemployment rate of people who are graduate is 5.8%. So they're doing worse. And this has happened, I would say, in the last year, I have some other data later on. This is happening this year, or at least a year ago. It's like, even just so, if anything, like, let's say 2-3 years ago, you would have said, oh, I got a computer science degree, I got a computer engineering degree, people would have like, okay, you're done for life. Yeah, you will have job, work, good pay, you're fine. Now it's the worst performance in thing, and later on I will, in the other post, I will say things about that. So that is a huge shift which is happening. Yeah, so that's why the thing is like, the learn to code is like, that is no longer the case. And why is that? Another thing that I've been sharing on the show is like, well, the AI is doing the coding for you. So you're no longer needed. Yeah, so it's no longer, sorry, I found the picture. It's like graduate and think that everything is for eternity. No, there are shifts happening in society as we speak. And so, and again, this is not something like, oh, this might happen in the next 5 years, 10 years. No, the people who are in, they cannot find jobs right now. Yeah, 6%, 7% unemployment. That's unheard of. Huh? That's now.
Scary. It's just going to get worse. So the one with Siri Tracking. I mean, I'm not sure that I mentioned about that there was a case, I believe it was just in the States, where they lost the court case where they were taking people's detail from Siri, and it was like something like 93 million, I think, is it this month or next month, those that actually put in an application, it'll get shared. But if you look at the amount of devices, that's tiny. That's a little slap on the face to a big giant like Apple. But I don't use Siri because I know they track these things, and I see people using Alexa and all these doorbell things and everything. It's like all your information is being tracked. But I was with my son there last week, and we were in the car, and he says to me, "Dad, thanks for charging my phone." And Siri said, "You're welcome." And we just both looked at each other. And I don't have Siri turned on. So it forgot itself. That was scary.
I know a story where it was my personal trainer, and this was a few years ago, and he had a meeting with his colleagues. He would use, let's say, 3 for a personal training, and he said, we were talking about nutrition, and we're talking about the benefits of using honey. And they were not having their phones with them, and they discussed these things. And he said, guess what? A day later, I'm getting advertisements for honey. So even though when it's turned off, it is recording everything you say.
I saw a guy doing an interview where he had both a phone on and off with Google tracking, and the one that was turned off gathered more information. So sometimes people go, let's have a conversation, turn off your phone and we'll, it's like, yeah.
It's still seeing, recording everything. Is it? They combined it with the Palantir stuff, and they know everything is like, yeah. So, well, you don't want to know what they already know about you, eh?
700,000 job cuts.
Yeah, that links to the first thing where already it shows that computer science, computer engineering folks are finding it more difficult to find jobs. And this is the recent job report. This is of June. Yeah, this is June 2025. And so we're just 6 months into the year. And in the US only, there have been already 700,000 job cuts. It's huge, huge, yeah? So that's only, well, it's now June, so it's not even June included. That's 5 months of this year, 700,000. And they say it is a 80% increase from the same period last year. 80%. So this has been happening between now and last year. And that's what I just said. It's like there's a huge shift, and it's not in the future. It's happening as we speak. 700,000 people are losing the job in the US only. I'm not talking globally, like with Europe and Asia or whatever. Yeah. And it's just 65,000 short of all layoffs in 2024. So I guess when the month of June is gone, it will be already more than the whole of last year, which is totally incredible. Yeah. And where are they? In service industries, in retail, in non-profits, and in technology. That's what I was talking about. Like a lot of people in technology are losing their job. And you might say, like, yeah, again, not true, whatever. We have a lot of problem with cognitive dissonance. I was having a meeting with a technical guy, and he said, Arnold, I'm currently working on 4 apps at the same time. Yeah, normally that wouldn't happen. People would be working on 1 app at the same. But he says, I'm working on 4 apps, and I'm using AI to help me do that. And we discussed, and he said, before I could use AI to work on 4 apps and everything, he said, I would approximately need a team of 230 to 250 people. So that's the resources I would need to build those apps. He's now doing it by himself. I spoke to this guy on Thursday. So this is now. This is as we speak. And this impacts those numbers. People who graduated and cannot find jobs, people who have jobs are being laid off. And so that's why I don't want to prove my point, but it's nice to be confirmed that where we in the show have been warning you about is like everything, the AI and technology, but also robotization, because that's the service and the retail jobs. Yeah, Amazon is putting people in the warehouses. I don't think everybody's going to be replaced by robots. So this is happening now. So please get your head out of the sand, don't be an ostrich anymore, and realize what's happening now, and do some really, really big introspection, and also discuss it with your friends, whatever. It's like, what should you be doing? Are you in danger? How can you prepare? What other stuff can you do? Because this is not a futuristic thing. That's why I shared these data today. Is like, this is happening as we speak.
And with numbers like that, you can probably say that there's probably average of 4 that's affected per the jobs that's lost. You're talking maybe at least 2 million people that are affected by that. And the thing is, this is just going to go like that, the scale of this happening. And eventually what's going to happen is, because nearly everyone now is like, oh, I don't need people for this, I don't need people for that. We're going to hit a point that people haven't got money. So there'll be loads of people that are able to create things, all that. But no one's going to be able to buy anything because they won't have the jobs. They'll be just on the breadline. And is that the social income thing that obey and you get your dollar? And I think that's where we're going. And that's scary because we see how they actually control us. And if they say, no money for you if you go protesting, no money for you if you object to this, no money for you if you post on the social media. And, so someone that's lost their job, their hands are out, and they'll just comply. And eventually they'll be able to do what they want. I mean, we know they're trying to push the one world government. Is different years put out. They're saying 2030. But based on the way things are going, you can see it happening.
Yeah, that is what I hope that people would take out of this. It's not all good news, caravan, but that's why I encourage you to do those 8 steps. Yeah, because outside of it, there's a lot of nasty things happening. But it's not science fiction. It's happening now. Yeah, so, and that's what I think is the most dangerous things, because it irritates me, to be frank, is that a lot of people are saying, yeah, but we had changes with technology and there were new jobs created and it took a while, but it created more work than we had before. It's like when the internet was introduced, and then we get when this was introduced and that was introduced, and all the time there were new jobs created. And when people start talking to me like that, it's like, yeah, but, well, number one, it took a lot of years before that was the case. Huh? But right now, that is not the case because it's now it's white collar workers, it's blue collar workers. It's impacting everyone, and it's either the robot or the AI. There's nothing left. So it like hoping that it will be the same as when the internet was introduced, or everything else. It like, no, it's not the same. So that's another dangerous thing, which people is like, oh, there will be new jobs and new things with it. No, there won't. So it's a different time. It's different impact, and unfortunately, the world is a little bit more evil than what they're telling us. Yeah, so it's you really, really, really have to work on your brain fitness, because otherwise it will happen to you what Roy just explained. Huh? And that's why we do this show, to make you aware, not to make you afraid, but make you aware, because if it becomes as a surprise to you, it's going to be very nasty. It's like, yeah, be prepared, think for yourself, and be ready to make a huge shift, because some things are not working out as they were supposed to be. But hey, that's life. Huh?
Just, I mean, a lot of people kind of think there's no hope and everything, but we realize there's sovereignty. So I do a lot of shows as well. Just type in B.B. Backus, Peter Stone, or Peter Wilson, and you'll see a load of stuff that will help you protect when you're being attacked by cities and everything, and even corporations when they're trying to push things like mandates and stuff like that. You have a lot more power when you actually realize it. So make sure, check out these things. And you, as Arnold said, brain gym. very important, brain fitness. So go to braingym.fitness. You'll find more about him and all the different things he's doing. Find everything about me on roycollin.com, or scan the QR code and you see all the different podcasts, as well as the meditation one, which will actually help you. Sure to give us a thumbs up, 5-star rating, share with your friends. And yeah, we're really censored. So make sure you put them on the different groups and a few donations. Look, buy us a coffee or an orange juice for Arnold. If he doesn't drink coffee, it really helps. Until next week, take care.